Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank personally Mr. Balakakis and the organizers of the AgriBusiness Forum for the kind invitation extended to me. I will start from a question by Mr. Riesen in the previous session. He asked them, what's nice about this policy? Is there anything good about this policy, this new policy? And I will share a personal experience. About 1 month ago, I was in the Agrotica Expo as a panelist in international company panel where producers and the CEO of the company explained how they have adapted to this Green Deal, to this Green Growth Initiative, and what they do in order to implement this policy. My question to them was, why? Why did you start these actions? Why did the organic producers start doing that, and why did the CEO said that? They said that this was the mindset of the company, the vision of the organic farmer, but indirectly they admitted that the driving force was the policy, because the policy is what drives big changes, especially in the agri-food sector. And those of us who have studied this policy for years, we can see that it is a rather complex policy with no immediate results. So some years have to go by in order for the results to become visible. So right now we have a new CAP, which started with the European Green Deal, which includes two strategies about the agri-food sector, the biodiversity and the farm-to-fork strategy. These policies have to be implemented in the strategic plan submitted by each member state. That's a first for the European Union. It's the first time that the strategic plan is prepared for the entire agri-food sector. In the past, there was a plan under the second pillar, and then we kept track of the objectives, of the targets. Now, even under the first pillar, where the direct payments are included, we have to measure everything based on the results. There are specific KPIs to measure them. So two things have to be taken into account when designing the strategic plan. First of all, the context, the framework, the policy, and secondly, the KPIs. Now let's go to the submitted Greek strategic plan. As Mr. Kassimis said, there are some ongoing problems for the Greek farming sector. Fragmented land plots, very small land plots, but that's not necessarily bad. Inequality in the distribution of aids, many aids to very few beneficiaries. A big part of payments, about 60 to 70%, is given to 20% of beneficiaries. Something must be done about that. Low productivity. We measured that the technical efficiency of Greek agriculture is around 60%. 100% in some sectors or much lower in other sectors. The average is 60%. Collapse of cooperatives, as Mr. Giannakakis pointed out before. This gives no room for achievement of visions, as it happened in Spain. Lack of connection between research and production. Research results from Greek universities that have been widely published. Greek researchers are at the top. Nevertheless, there is no practical implementation in the field. And, of course, lack of advisory services. The Ministry of Agriculture lost its antennas because it went to the hands of regions. And now private bodies provide advice to farmers. Now, let's see what the challenges are for the new CAP. First of all, we have to produce food. That's the main function of the primary sector. The population needs to be fed. Secondly, those that produce food have to receive an income that will motivate them to continue producing. Third, quite recent one, contribute to the mitigation of climate change. Climate change is present. We've all experiencing extreme weather conditions, and it's something that will become probably more intense over the years to come. Europe, it was the first continent in the world that created a framework, the European Green Deal, which means a climate-neutral Europe by 2050. And this should become part of the new CAP. And as these challenges play along, there is an extra factor, the Russian-Ukrainian war, which brings about the food crisis risk. So we started around 2020 to plan for the new programming period, the new CAP, the framework for our producers to produce their food. Here you can see a time schedule of this journey that lasted about 3 years. The SWOT analysis took a lot of time because we had to identify the weaknesses, the advantages, the threats, the opportunities for the Greek primary sector. Then we had to identify the needs and prioritize them. Did researchers do that on their own? No, it was through consultation. We invited almost 1,200 stakeholders from the agricultural sector to provide their opinion and discuss with us. And following that, we started preparing the measures that would serve these needs. We talked about the funds necessary. So in December 2020, we presented our SWOT analysis to the Parliament and then to the European Union. The first comments by the European Commission were made in April 2022, 220 remarks that had to be answered. Some of them were rather easy to answer, or some of them needed a little bit of work from us, or other ones were purely political comments. We managed to resubmit for approval our strategic plan in October 2022. Unfortunately, we were a bit delayed in this, and we will pay a cost for that. We estimated that we should have completed this process by June 22 in order then to organize awareness-raising activities. We've lost winter crops because Greek farmers are not aware of the new strategic plan. Now, let's see the main pillars of this policy. The first one is, of course, the basic income support. The system was radically changed in 2003. This is called income support, which is not based on what they will produce. So now the system, the same system as the previous programming period was maintained. 3 agricultural regions, the same percentages per region, and about 830 million euros per year. That's not the same figure as in the previous programming period, because part of it went to the redistributive payment. According to our estimates, as you can see on your screen, come from data that we processed. They will not change. The reality will be more or less what you see on your screen. The second measure is the redistributive payment, which is for the first time implemented in Greece. So part of the payments from large producers will be given to small and medium-sized producers. It was not so easy to define what small and medium-sized producer is. So we based our strategy not on the surface of the land. Of course, the payment is per hectare, but we explored what's the economic profit of each enterprise and then converted into hectares. This table shows that in arable crops, this payment will be given to those that grow in a hectare of 2 to 11 hectares. In permanent crops, 1 to 4 is the maximum surface, and when it comes to pastures, 1 to 17. I forgot to say before that when it comes to basic income support, there will be the convergence of the value of rights. So each producer at the end of the period will get the exact same money as a similar producer in the same region. In the past, we had introduced a historic factor. Just 2 minutes left anyway. Very, very quickly. Coupled payments. 19 products. We give coupled payments for 19 products. The new payment is for maize because of the food crisis. We can further discuss about this in the Q&A session. Eco schemes, it's a new policy measure because of the climate changes and the European Green Deal. It is a package of 430 million per year. So anybody which produces public goods is remunerated. So any producer willingly participating in this eco scheme will receive the relevant payment. Sectoral projects. We have the same 4 sectoral programs: olive oil, honey, beehive, fruit and vegetable, and wine. Now we want the cooperatives that will participate in the olive oil scheme will have to have more turnover than compared to the previous programming period. Now, second pillar programs amount to 350 million per year. Here you can see the relevant pie chart, almost the same as the previous programming period. A new addition is the one related to the AGI system, because it will help boost the Greek agriculture. Now, the AGI system, the European Agricultural Knowledge and Innovation Systems. The entire strategic plan is based on the Akis success. Based on a previous European Union report, Greece ranks last. Our Akis system was characterized as weak and fragmented, with many deficits. We made a proposal about how Akis should be, involving a national commission, a coordinating body, the Special Management Agency, the Geotechnical Chamber of Greece, the National Rural Network, the Ministry of Rural Development will play a major role. The reserve, the repository, will be the main digital tool for Akis, and each advisor will have access to this repository in order to either send questions or receive information which will then be passed to the producer. To conclude, what are the outlooks, the perspectives? We want to eliminate inequalities. There were many complaints from young farmers which grew in the same area as an older farmer, and they received fewer money because of historical rights. This is eliminated, this is abolished. Decrease of the unequal distribution of direct payments. Now payments will be distributed more fairly, not entirely fairly, but more fairly. Contribution of the Greek agriculture in achieving the European Green Deal targets. Re-establishment of geo-applications through the Akis system of agri-applications, and of course this will hopefully lead us to the increase of productivity. I have to underline that the agri-food sector has a gross value of 6.5 billion per year. So, with the same inputs, we can increase by 40%. If we translate it into money, this is 2.5 billion euros per year, which is equal to the amount of the payments. So, isn't it worth it? Isn't it worth trying? Thank you.